Earping 9 to 5, 'cause our shit show is so thrilling. We can say goodbye, so we're polite and no chilling. It just blows our minds that it doesn't get the credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. Season 5, 'cause Earper's got devotion, gotta bring her home. We can't cope with the emotion, want to move ahead, 'cause Andras just seems to get me. I swear this show is here to represent me.
Well, everybody, can you hear me now? I feel like I should have a beer. Can you hear me now?
Why don't you?
All right. Hi, I'm Sonya, again, Purgatory Archaeological Survey. Thanks for coming to the Fan Art Friday panel. I am joined by Peach, Cindy, Jen, and Hayley. Hi. Okay, so first, I know we have a lot of talent up here on the stage, but I want to thank them for their time and their willingness to come up here and talk to me with a microphone on in front of other people. Keep flirting with the panelists to a minimum, okay? Wait till afterwards. But I want to thank their willingness to come up here because this isn't easy. This isn't always comfortable for everybody. But while we're highlighting their work, I encourage you to check out their work if you haven't already. Some of these folks sell their art and sell their work, so I encourage you to do that. But there are so many talented creators in the fandom, and I can't have everybody up here, but they all deserve us as Earpers, our appreciation for what they contribute, because this is a lot of unpaid labor, and it's a labor of love. So just want to acknowledge everybody out there who does whatever for the fandom. It doesn't matter. You contribute. You participate, you like the show, you're an Earper, but especially the fan creators really do something special for us, so I really appreciate it. So we're gonna start easy, guys. I just wanna go down the road a little bit. I want us to tell them a little bit about yourself, where you're from, maybe what you do, what you create, Earp-wise, or not. And kind of how long you've been doing it. Just a little bit about yourself. Who wants to start? Peach?
Okay. Hello, I am Peach, or Sarah, which is my real name. I am from near London in the UK, and I like to sing. I've sung my whole life, but struggle to do it in front of people, so Earp has helped bring that out of me a little bit. Woo.
Cindy?
My name is Cindy. I am from London also, Alabama. I write fan fiction, and I've been doing it for about 4 years. So I have about 41 fan fictions out there, so that's about
Not too shabby.
Yeah. Probably too many.
Yeah. Jen?
My name's Jen. I'm from California. I make things. I 3D print and wood burn and literally every hobby that somebody with ADHD can have. So,
Hayley?
I'm Hayley. Hi. I am from England. And I mostly do fan art, and I also do Start the Wave Eco merch.
Very nice.
Hayley.
Yeah. As modelled beautifully over here by Cindy.
Cindy, turn around.
Turn around.
Yeah. Hey. Lovely.
Yep.
You can find more of that at Hayley's booth. So some of you kind of touched on this, but did any of you get started in your field when you started watching Earp, or was it something you had always done? Or I'm sure it's morphed, and we can get more into that. But is this something you've always been involved in, the art mediums that you work in?
Is everyone looking at me?
Yeah. Do you want me to
Yeah,
go?
you
I'll
go first. Okay, I can go. So I have always sort of been on the creative side, and I just basically love messing around. But it wasn't until I started watching Killing Eve that I started drawing fan art. And then I got harassed on Instagram by 2 people. one there, and Fran in the front row. You have to watch Why Don't Earp, you have to watch it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I didn't. And then that went on for a few weeks until I caved and bought the DVDs. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And then I was like, oh, okay. And it went from there, really. But yeah, like Earp has definitely like projected me into the obsessed level of drawing every day. And I wasn't at that level. So.
That tends to happen with Earp. Yeah. How about you guys? Anyone else?
I mean, I've always been creative. I paint all the time, but I didn't get into 3D printing until my first year of watching Winona Earp. And for some reason, I got it in my head that when I joined the Christmas Secret Santa, that I could 3D print and 3D design. And then the Funko Pops were created. So.
I started writing with Earp, so I had never really written anything creative to maybe some poetry back in those angsty high school days, but really Earp started it all for me when it comes to writing.
Mm-hmm. What you, Peach?
No, I've sung forever. I sang when I was learning to talk. Mm-hmm. My parents put me in front of the TV, watching musicals and Disney's and stuff, and yeah, it just came. But Earp definitely brought it out as more of like a, no, I really love doing this, and I'm going to use it for bigger things, I think.
Use it for good.
Try.
Use your power for good. So, you've all kind of touched on like how this has inspired you in different ways. Maybe kicking and screaming drug into the fandom. Not quite. Reluctantly.
You know, kicking and screaming until I saw the first like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm sold.
Yeah. But some of you guys, like, you sell your art like it's a business. So had you done that before? Doesn't sound like you had, Jen, before really getting into the fandom.
I don't know. Not really. Like, I mean, I did vinyl stickers, but it wasn't like my own art. It was like files I bought. So Earp kind of brought the muse back and like allowed me to be like extra creative. Like, I hadn't painted in probably close to 6 years, and then got into Winona Earp, and it like opened the door all over again. So it just, yeah.
How about you, Hayley? Like as a sort of a business?
Yeah, so I touched on it just now that Killing Eve was the first thing that I sort of started drawing fan art for.
Can you guys hear her okay?
No?
Is your mic on?
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, it's
I have
on
to hold it
right
like a
here.
TikToker.
Oh, hi! Hello. Okay, that's it. And now I'm all shy. Yeah, so Killing Eve was the first thing that I started drawing fan art from. And it was in like, I'm just going to hold it. And it was I don't know when it was, but a while ago. And then I did like a limited run of like 25 prints, but I'd never done anything like that before. So I was really sort of like, oh, I don't know, I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Did it anyway and sold them out. And then I was just like, oh, okay. And that sort of gave me like a bit more confidence, because I'm not naturally a confident person. So that the fact that people wanted to buy something, that was really sort of affirming. But it wasn't until then, and then getting harassed by these guys.
No regrets.
Very friendly harassment.
Friendly.
Yeah. So that kind of is in the same vein of like what is it about creating in the fandom that inspires you? Is it the show? It could be many things, but is it the show itself? Is it Earpers? Is it what about it like kind of generates that? What creates that muse? What generates that creativity? Or once anyone.
Okay. For me, it's like, I guess just paying attention. Like, I make stuff selfishly, so I make it for myself, and then I'll just post it, like, on Twitter or whatever, and people will be like, "Take my money," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, so this is a thing now." So that's really what it is. I'll design something for myself or for a project, and it's like people want it. Like, who am I to be like, okay, I'm keeping this to myself, So, and So it just depends on what it is that I'm making, but the inspiration behind it's always the show. So.
What about you, Cindy? You got like, what, 40 fics under your belt?
41 fics.
41
so,
fics?
Yeah. So for me, I think that it's more like just being part of this community, and you meet other people, other writers, other artists, and you're like, oh, I want to do that. I want to be involved in that. But it's just the show, Emily, the cast. I mean, it's just you just want to be part of it. So I write a little.
How about you, Peach?
For me, it started as like what can I do as something different that might help them gain attention for the fight for season 5. And it actually started when I was watching The Sound of Music and singing along to favourite things and then going, I could change all the words to this and make it Earp related. And that's how it started. And then they just kept coming. There's not too many, but from there it then became a group, and there's the Earper parody singers now, and I still do some stuff on my own. It's just I don't post them very often now, mainly because this was during lockdown and stuff, so I had a lot more time on my hands. Now it's a case of I'll get it done, I just don't know when. Hopefully.
Yeah, we all picked up a hobby during COVID.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, it kind of goes to one of the questions I had, like, is this something that you were doing before COVID? Or, and maybe yes, but has it changed or morphed during COVID? I mean, I know I even was like piddling around with digital art, and I had never done that before because it was something to do. It was a crazy, weird time.
I didn't know that I had the ability to do something silly and just post it. For me, it was always, I overanalyzed anything that I did post, and there were very few things. But it changed the way I was like, do you know what? Someone will find this funny. It might get some attention. It's not for me, it's for others to enjoy if they like it, and it went okay. Just want to make more now. Yeah, keep going.
How about anyone else? COVID change anything or affect anything for
posted
you?
my first fic in October of 2020, so it was like just locked down and started writing.
Yeah. For sure. I did Thai boxing before, so when I couldn't do that anymore, I was like, oh, what am I doing now? Thank you. So then I started drawing more and more and more, and went from there really. But yeah, before I did draw occasionally, but definitely not as much.
Yeah.
Being trapped inside definitely helped. This isn't working.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm curious, we all have our lives here as Earpers. Everyone knows us from the Earp context. But we all have lives outside of Earp. So I'm always curious what Earpers do outside of Earping. And if you're...
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Wait, there's something outside of Earp?
Right. That's crazy. But if any of your... I know you have your business and a business, but is your day job, is your normal day-to-day life, does that have anything to do with your art or with your medium? Or is this a totally separate outlet, a totally separate thing that you do for yourself?
I'm an airport security officer, so...
Totally the same then.
But I do sing all day, so... Does that count?
Yeah.
No, I read contracts for a living, so no, not
You read all day and write
all
in the
day.
evening?
Nothing creative, and no.
I'm the general manager for an escape room, so making things is what I do.
Oh, cool.
So it does play over, and the skills that I've learned because of the Earp obsession has played over into prop building and stuff for new games and whatnot.
That's cool.
I actually quit my job. Is it you? Yeah.
Yeah.
They have it right there. I quit my job after 15 years, a few years ago now, to pursue creativity full time, and that's going really well. I did get a part-time job to sort of But yeah, I was in a full-time job for 15 years, and I was just finding myself, my head just wasn't in it anymore. And I was just sitting at my computer thinking, like, what can I draw when I get home? What can I make when I get home? What can I do? And I just felt like I was just wasting away, if that makes sense. So yeah, I left my job and haven't looked back, really.
It's a big leap of faith.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
Awesome. So sometimes creating can be like a really solo activity, like you're just doing it yourself, it's something you do for yourself. But sometimes like a supportive person or a group of people might have a big impact, like a beta writer or something that you bounce off of, or has second opinion. So is there anyone in your life, or who are those people in your life that are supporters, and how have they helped you?
Fran helped me write all of my parodies. I can't take all the credit.
Woo! Go Fran!
And then Mum and Dad checked them over afterwards. Yeah. Franny.
Well, when I started writing, I got in a group with Sid the Kid, Stacy. Y'all might have heard of Stacy. And then it's Heather Watts, who's here, who is writing an excellent fic right now. And we got in a group chat and just started talking. And then they would read my stuff. And it was really at that point that I think that I started to get better. You know, I just had that person who would be like, hey, you need to change this word, and maybe, rephrase this, or your typos are terrible because you write on your phone. Maybe break out a computer, but they were the ones who really just kind of kept pushing me, to get better and to write. I mean, Heather tells me all the time, you need to write more, please. So,
For me, it's my wife, and then Amber, because I send Amber literally pictures of every single thing I make, and she will be like, yep, add that to my list. So, yeah, those are my people.
Well, for me, also my wife. She's probably one of the only people that will just say, that's rubbish. Everyone else can be quite nice, so it's nice. I think I'm saying that. She doesn't say it's rubbish, but she'll be honest with me. But I attended the Connecting with Creativity retreat, and I've got a lovely group of people from that who are here also, and they're a wonderful support. And the Start the Wave as well. That's always a great group of people to work with. So yeah, very lucky.
Are you individually, are you the type of person that needs feedback? Do you need to get that second opinion? And like, how do you handle constructive critique? Or how do you handle poor critique? If someone gives you poor critique, I mean, you're a creative, but you're a person, so these things are personal to you. Or are you just good? Like, I don't need the feedback. I'm doing this for myself. I have my own reasons. I'm really not listening.
So when your wife says it's rubbish.
No, I really regret saying that. I can't tell you how much I regret saying that.
Do not show her this video.
No, she's the best. I really appreciate feedback. If I'm doing like a collaboration piece, I much prefer someone to come back to me and say, oh, maybe you should do it this way, or maybe you should do it that way, or shall we try this? Because I have so much anxiety. If I'm doing like a commission or something, I have so much anxiety about, like, here it is, what do you think? And then I switch my phone off and disappear. So I would much rather someone come back and say, actually, I'd rather you change this and that. And because then I know if they're honest with me, I know where I'm at, and I'm not constantly thinking, oh, they've paid for this thing, or if they didn't like it, and it's stuck with it. So yeah, feedback is really, really good. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I like feedback just because it lets me know what people want. If they're not interested in a light box or, one of the pops that I make or whatever I'm making, then I'm just kind of wasting my time a little bit, And I think being like a general manager of a company also allows me to handle the critique a little bit better than I probably would if I wasn't, because You get angry people all the time. So.
Do you want to go? You want me to go? Okay. As I said before, I really need a beta because I do write from my phone a lot, so I have lots of typos. But if you have written fanfic or read fanfic, you know this thing called comments. So you get a lot of feedback, not always the nicest, but I just kind of read it, and especially those comments that are kind of mean. You just kind of like, I don't know what's going on with your day, but hopefully you're having a better day tomorrow, and when you come back, you'll say something nice. But, I mean, without my betas, my readers, y'all would be reading like, you wouldn't even, there would be like 2 fics, not 40, so.
I definitely check them with people, mostly Fran. Sometimes my parents. It depends what sort of a thing it is, and how quickly I want it out. And then comments. I had one bad one.
I mean, they're
one that it hurt. But Earper's had my back straight away, so I didn't even have to say anything. I just.
That's true. I mean, they will get on there and be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
What about the feedback at the airport?
At the airport, it's always good.
Your favorite security person, the singing security guard. Cindy, you mentioned like Earp was your first foray into writing.
Right.
Did you have like a gateway? Were you reading other things? What was your gateway fandom? It was always Earp?
Always Earp. I've only read Earp fan fiction, actually. I've never read, I know I need to get in and read some others, but yeah, it's always been Earp, so.
I'm always curious, like, I've not gone to like Emily's writer's workshop, but I've heard like that's really useful for some people. Do you have like a structure that you follow, or are you're just kind of you've made your own structure?
A lot of writers, they outline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not one of those. No. So, and Stacy has actually taught me how to outline. New 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think as Stacy, y'all know who Stacy is. So, but I spend a lot of time in the car, and I just kind of see it. I just see the story. I just play it out in my mind, and then when I get to a place where I can use my cell phone, I just type it out. So that is probably crazy, but that's just how I can do it. It's just I just picture it and then I just write it.
Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was interesting how good fic writers are at picking out what the different characters' voices sound like. Like you're one person writing for Waverly and Nicole and Winona and Doc, but they're so good at the dialogue or piecing out those individual characters. Is that something that comes easy or?
No, I mean it is hard, and it's especially if you're writing a 2-point of view story, and you're writing one chapter Waverly and another chapter Nicole, it's very hard to keep them separate. And sometimes, you'll go back and watch a little piece of the show and just put it back into perspective. But I don't write canon. So for me, I can take Waverly and give her a little bit of Waverly's voice and then make her mean and nasty like I did in Fingerprints. Or, I can turn Nicole's kind of into a murderer. Not really, she wasn't a murderer. And like a murder me or something. So if you're not writing canon, it's a little easier. But it still can be difficult, and it's just, you just go back and touch base with the show,
Is that one of the more difficult, challenging parts of writing fic, or is there a different? Is your challenge something else?
Writing summaries. Yes. I mean, I hate to write a summary. I mean, it's just like I steal them from people all the time. I'll go, "Hey, Heather, how would you write this summary?" And then I'll just tape it and copy and paste it. It's like those are the worst to me. Yeah.
How do I condense this 40 chapter?
Yeah. No, without giving it away. I mean,
Yeah. If someone's just starting out writing or hit a wall, do you have any advice for them?
I do. I always say just write. Just write. And oftentimes you'll just find your rhythm again if you just sit down and do it. Heather will tell you that's what I tell her all the time. But if I've ever taught to anybody, I always just say, just write. Nobody's going to judge you if you're writing for yourself. And eventually you're going to find that story. So you just got to do it. Just write.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Yep. Peach. Hello. I have maybe your favorite question. When did you know you could like sing?
I like dance. No, I really don't believe that it's, and like, people shout at me all the time for this, but I don't believe that I am that good of a singer.
You would be incorrect.
I know. I know that I can hold a note. I know that, you know, there's some ability there, but I don't think it's anything special. But yeah, I get told that I'm wrong a lot. But I don't know if that's like a trauma thing. I don't know if that's like just imposter syndrome. I don't know what that is. I just don't believe it.
Well, you are a really good singer. It's true.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yep. Show of hands. Peach is a good singer.
There's a vote.
Yep, unanimous. Okay.
Stop.
Did you ever like have any like professional training? Did you have lessons, or
No.
did you just?
No, I literally. So, my nan was a singer, and she played the organ in a church. And my dad is a very good singer, and my brothers are very good singers, although
But
none
not
of them.
you.
No. Nope. So I don't know if it's like a hereditary thing. Like, I don't know. I think it maybe just because there was music in the family. Like, everyone loves music, and upbringing, there was always music either playing or a musical film on, or, you know, we were singing. And also, everyone in my family likes different things, which has then made me like everything. So there's like...
I was gonna ask, like musical influences. It's a bunch of different things.
I mean, my favourite singer in the world is Tori Kelly. Some people know that already. And Jessie J, I think her voice is phenomenal. But then there's like the Whitneys, and don't tell me off for this, but Mariah, and like there's different genres, different people, you know. Yeah, lots of influence.
Have you? I mean, I know you said you kind of were inspired by watching Sound of Music. You're like, oh, I could do this. I could, you know, parody this for Earp. But like, have you ever like dabbled in music writing, like lyrical writing songs before?
Yes. I have never, ever shared anything, though.
Okay.
And actually, apart from the parodies, but I mean, I just changed some words. I feel like that's like the most vulnerable part, is the you've written something, sharing that is huge, because that is just you, and you'll know what I mean. Like, you're creating something from scratch. For me, a lot of the time, I've either covered something that's already been made, or I've changed the words to something that's already been made. So when it comes to like actually sharing something that I have made, that terrifies me. Hopefully one day I'll get the guts and do it, but I need to learn a lot more first, I think. Such a perfectionist, so yeah, I think it'll be a struggle.
Or an adventure.
What's that?
Or an adventure. Fun.
Or an adventure. We love an adventure.
So it sounds like singing like pre-Earp has changed sort of post-Earp.
Oh yeah.
Can you like talk a little bit more on that? Like, what is it about it that's changed singing for as an experience for you?
Before, I was a mimicker. I liked to copy their voice, or at least sing similarly. I didn't have that creative, like, I can change this and sing it this way. Now I do, because I've played around with it a lot more, and I've learned things from people in the audience, Jordan. And yeah, there's definitely been skills learnt, so that I can dabble now. It's fun.
Do you have any future parody plans?
Oh yeah,
Writing
do you know how many I have written? And just, haven't done. I'm going to do it soon, little spoiler, a chicken kicker one, from a very old song that probably no one will know. I literally found it because it had the word chicken in it. But hopefully it'll be fun. We'll see.
Yeah.
Soon.
Nice. I have a question for Jen and Hayley, however you want to go for it. You both work in like different mediums. You have different, types of artwork that you make. Do you have a favorite, like a personal favorite that you like working with the most?
Yeah, I'll go. It's really hard because it just kind of depends on like where I'm at. Like sometimes I'm just obsessed with painting, and so I'll bust out like 5 or 6 paintings, and that's all acrylic, and then if I'm in a 3D printing mode, it's designing, which takes me hours, and then printing, and then failing at printing, and then redesigning. So it really depends on like where my focus is at. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I have like one favorite thing that I work on, or that I work in, I guess. It's just kind of everything I dabble in, I enjoy. So, and it's, drives my wife crazy, but I enjoy it. So.
So for me, I really enjoy the upcycling. I've done that for quite a while before I did the Start the Wave stuff. And obviously, I love doing the digital art for Winona Earp. And it sort of clicked with me. I was like, oh, I could put Earp on jackets. And then I was like combining it. So for me, like combining the art and the sustainability, that's my favorite thing to do.
So we know Earp sort of externally influences the art, obviously, that you guys are making for the fandom. But what else factors into like your physical creation or flow of creativity? Is there anything specific? Is it, I mean, if you're selling things, is that also motivating creativity, or?
I think the opposite.
Yeah.
I think when you're focused on that, if I'm focused on I have to sell this thing, that's when I'm less creative. The pressure, I don't do well. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, I feel like when you're creating for creating's sake, because when we're kids, right, we play. You don't have to be taught to play. You just play. That's what kids do. As you get older, it sort of becomes less about the process and more about the end product. And having that sort of stress and sort of anticipation of even just like posting on social media, you're posting it and then it's like, well, how many people like it? But if you bring it right back to the creating, I've really forgotten what your question was. I'm so sorry.
No, like Earp is an
Basically,
external influence.
Don't worry too much about the end product.
Yeah.
And focus on the process and the creating and find joy in that, and then you'll be inspired further. And the more love you put into something, the more love that other people will hopefully get from it. But if you're focused too much on I need to sell this, people need to like it, I find that really like affects me in the complete opposite way.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. I lost like all of my artistic muse after my mom died. And so, it was during the depression of that whole thing that I found Winona Earp, because I was binge watching shows on Netflix to deal with it. And I was like, I don't know what the hell this is, and just hit play, and it just was like, I was like, oh, this is weird, I like it. And so like, it just kick-started everything. Like, I mean, within 2 weeks of binge watching Winona Earp, I wrote an entire novel, and then it went into 3D printing and now laser engraving and CNC. It's like everything. It just kind of just like allowed it to flow. And it was weird after having not had it for a minute, so.
Do you two have any future plans for your art or your businesses or the direction you're going, or Start the Wave, or anything in the future you kind of have in mind? If you can share it, yeah.
Always thinking about the next thing, the next project, the next way I can sort of advance what I'm doing. I don't really have anything specific right now that I can talk about, but yeah, there's always something on the go. I'm never bored, put it that way.
Yeah, the next con that I participate in will debut all 37 Funko characters. Yeah. Wow. So, and I think I'm finally gonna get to the point where I actually sell my actual paintings, the actual paintings, not just the prints. So, yeah, there's a lot I have planned. Whether that actually happens, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Awesome. You might like this. It's a little pressure off you specifically. If you could interview any creative person, any inspirational person, alive or dead, is there someone that you'd love to just pick their brain or work with, ideally?
I have someone.
Who?
Jacob Collier. His brain is, wow. He can play like nearly every instrument, and his musical knowledge, like the theory behind it, is just wow. And also Tori Kelly, because wow. No, Jacob Collier, he's just unbelievable. I recommend, if you don't know who that is, go and listen to his music. He is incredible. Very, very talented.
I can't go after that. So I would really like to talk to Emily, just because I'm starting to work on a screenplay. And I would just like to sit down and say, okay, tell me really what's your process. And I know I've been to the writers thing and I've been to the After Dark and I'm going tonight, but just like a one-on-one conversation with just step by step, tell me what you do. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, because I'm a little nervous about writing a screenplay, but I'm also excited. So,
Is it your first time?
screenplay? Yeah.
That's exciting.
And then Hemingway, just because I just need to sound better.
I don't have just like one specific person. I love to pick the brain of anybody who's creative.
Yeah.
Like if you walk up to me and start telling me like your process, I'm gonna sit there and ask you all of the annoying questions. So prepare for that, anybody out there.
You want to get down to like, how do you do this, and
Yeah.
how do you make this work?
Yeah. I like it's just how my brain works. I like to understand how processes are done, whether it's something I'm interested in or not. It doesn't matter. I just like to know how.
Yeah.
Exactly what Jen said.
Yeah. Copycat.
Just learning from people, all different kinds of people from all different kinds of backgrounds, doing all kinds of different things.
That's
To
a
me,
better
like,
answer.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right?
Visually, your art looks very comic book inspired. Is that on purpose? Is comic book inspiration like a part of it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to really tell you like a specific person, but I just love the style. I love drawing like that. And it lends itself really well because obviously the dialogue in Earp is massive, and I find that when I draw comic book scenes and put all the dialogue in, those are the ones that people really love. Just because, you know, if it's your favourite scene, you're going to love it. So, yeah, I think that I really enjoy doing those, yeah.
So maybe Hayley and Cindy collaborate on writing a
let's do it.
comic.
Gonna keep my face out of the way there.
I think we all can probably relate to this a little bit in some degree, because whether you're creating art or creating music, or you're still in school, or you're going back to school, or you're already in the workforce, like, I think most of us are familiar with the feeling of imposter syndrome, that feeling that we're not good enough, or we're coming up short, we're undeserving, and it's just a matter of time before someone pulls the rug out from under us. If you're familiar with this feeling, have you found any tools that have helped you that you could share?
Going to connecting with creativity is the thing that taught me to just relax a little bit. I'm still not there, like fully there. It's a journey, but I sang there for the first time in over 10 years in front of people. Yeah. So, meditating and being surrounded by like-minded people, supportive people was like the thing that...
Is it fed, anxiety fed? Kind of easing that?
Yeah. There's some trauma behind it based on experiences with singing on stage, and then, there's like, it's physical. It's a physical feeling I can't get through. I've tried to change like the nervous feeling to excitement and tried lots of ways, but meditating was I believe, and the support around me was the thing that helped me the most, yeah.
It's a good one.
No, I don't feel that. No, I'm just kidding. There are so many amazing fanfic writers in our fandom. I mean, there are tons that have been published. It's easy to think I'm not good enough, But the thing I try to remind myself is just that maybe there's just that one person who loves my story and that I've touched them or helped them or inspired them in some way. And I just try to focus on that one person I know who likes the snuggle turtle or, likes something that I've written. So, but it's easy because there are so, look at the talent, up here. It's easy to have that feeling. And you just have to think about that one person that you may have made feel special.
Yeah, I agree. I have the feeling all the time. It's like, it's just something that is just me. I'm a little ball of anxiety, like constantly. So I'm constantly doubting my work, constantly doubting that, constantly doubting that it's good. I'm lucky to have friends, amazing friends, and my wife who are constantly there to reassure me, your stuff's good, knock off your crap, and so it's that voice in your head, it's the voice that's so hard to get out of your head. And especially when people do similar products to me or things like that, it's just it's there, it's just nagging, and so having the reassurance from, the people you care about, that's the one thing that helps me get through past it all. So
More support group.
Yeah.
Fed. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to that, I would say the running theme tends to be community, and Earp has been sort of the first fan community that I've ever been involved in, and it really does make a difference because obviously everyone is just lovely and wonderful, and putting something out into the world, it is a scary thing. Even if you've done it once before, if you've done it 100 times before, every time you post something, you do have that anxiety feeling attached, will people like it? And it goes back to what I was saying before. But because it's Earp and it's Earpers, everyone, it might not be their favourite thing that you've done, but everyone gives you love and support, and it just makes such a difference. And I'm going back now on what I said before about sort of focusing on too much on likes and shares and things, but those little things that, you're scrolling through your feed and you like someone's, it really does make a difference when people do that, just to acknowledge that they've seen what you've done and liked it. And yeah, it really helps. So I don't have tools as such, but community and having that support is really important. So thank you if you've ever liked.
Yeah, thank you.
Agreed.
It's always really appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, like you said, just knowing it was seen, and even just a like on Twitter is a big deal, or
Yeah,
Instagram.
definitely.
It goes a long way.
It does, it really
Yeah.
does.
Well, and I think social media is so good for artists, but it's also so horrible for artists. It was easier when my stuff wasn't seen and I didn't have to worry about people commenting on it, But then you get the people who comment on it and they love it. And so it's it's got its pros and cons for sure.
The people that love it, they make you want to do more of it.
Exactly,
That's
100%.
true. Yeah.
And I feel like we have Earpers from all around the world, obviously, but we are still such a small feeling fandom. It still feels like a small town, and all the good and bad that goes with living in a small town.
Of course.
But it is that small feeling of community that, and it can be someone from across the world who likes it, and they're your friend and they give you feedback. And it is nice to have that person that gives you some very tough love
Rubbish.
feedback.
Your wife, this is rubbish.
Yeah, but that
never
it's
living
coming
that down.
from a good
Behave.
place. Yeah, it's coming from a good place, right?
Yeah, and so a lot of my followers on my main account are because I post my own Earp stuff. So then I have that anxiety if I post something else, they're not going to like it.
If you step outside of the fandom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. But I think people have been really lovely and are liking stuff that they probably even haven't seen before. But it's just that's a little extra level of support. It really does make a difference.
Yeah. Well, we kind of touched on this a little bit. I asked advice, about if you have any tools for handling those thoughts of doubt or those feelings of anxiety or imposter syndrome. But if there's anybody in the audience, if you have any advice for them, someone who may not feel confident enough to start something, maybe they have ideas, but they're not sure if they want to share it publicly, someone who maybe hit a creative wall or maybe doesn't feel like they're as creative as they want to be, do you have any advice for them to address some of those things? Because I'm sure in some capacity we're all probably there at some point, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, the advice that I could give is, if you're feeling nervous about it, reach out to somebody who does. I mean, you can reach out to me. I will be as honest as I need to be. Like, I'm an open book, and I won't hide anything from anybody. And if it's just a push you need, just do it. It's scary. It's like running at a cliff and not knowing if you're going to be able to stop or if you're going to fly. And but when you post your art and people love it, it is the biggest adrenaline rush that you could ever get. I can't even explain it. Like, I'm sure you you agree with that.
It's funny, I was talking to Emily earlier, and she was writing an auto for someone else, and she said, just start writing, that's what the edit button's for. I would just say just do it. Like, if you're, I feel like just do it is like,
It's our thing.
gonna be like a common thing, but just
We're
do
stealing it
Just
from Nike. It's
see
fine.
what-
They'll never know.
Yeah, see what happens. Don't be scared of it. Like, maybe if you're worried about negative feedback, run it through friends, Earpers. I think everyone is so supportive. If it's music related, definitely hit me up. I'll do what I can. But I think genuinely everyone is so supportive. So, yeah. Community.
Yes, community. I would say concentrate on the process, like I said before. Don't worry too much about the end product. Create for yourself as much as you can. Create for other people as well. I mean, that's amazing. But create for yourself. Never forget to create for yourself. And just put it out there. You know, like Cindy said, if one person looks at it and likes it or identifies with it, it resonates with them, it's so worth it. And if you are that one person who sees something you like, please comment. Let that person know that you appreciate what they're doing, because it does really make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally be the only person that comments, but it literally changes the world. So.
So if you have that fic that's in your Google Docs and it's just sitting there staring at you, our writing community is really amazing. I think if you just sent a message to any of them, they would happily, read it for you, give you some feedback. I mean, that's how it started with me. I reached out to Shawnee, Chopper James is Shawnee's fic writing name, and Shawnee just encouraged me to do it. So just do it again. So
That's our thing. It's fine.
And so if you have that doc that's just sitting there, reach out to me. Like they all said, I would love to read and give you feedback and comment. I'm happy to help too.
Yeah, I like seeing the diversity in the fandom. I mean, there's so many fic writers. I mean, we could go on and on specifically about fic. I mean, the different genres and styles and everything like that. But just the art, the physical art that people make, the digital art that people make, clothes. I mean, literally it was singing. I mean, that's why I really wanted this panel to get together specifically, because you guys have such diverse niches and talents, and it is kind of a little microcosm of really the fandom as a whole. And that's what I really love to see when I scroll through Twitter, Instagram, or even just like at cons and looking at tables and seeing how much diversity and creativity we actually have. That's, I mean, centered around Earp, because that's the type of art that we're buying or listening to, or reading, but it's really impressive. And a lot of folks are like self-taught. This is a passion project. It's really impressive.
YouTube is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube, yeah. As well, I'm at the end of my questions. Does anybody in the audience have any questions for any of these folks up here? Yeah.
So one of the things that you mentioned was asking about maybe doing some original music, and I was wondering for any of you who might have something a little bit different that you want to try, putting your own music out there, writing in a different realm, working with a different artistic medium than you're used to. What would it take to get you over that hump to do the next scary thing that you haven't done yet?
For me, that's actually coming right up for me. I have to learn how to foam carve and fiberglass for our new game. So, yeah, it's completely out of my wheelhouse and nerve-wracking, and I've been putting it off for like 3 months now, and now the deadline's here, so I have to do it. But yeah, so that's my next scary thing.
Sounds like you need a like breathing apparatus for that, right?
Yeah. It's there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's so messy. I'm not looking forward to it.
Honestly, personally, with my music, I feel like a lot of mine's going to be a personal journey, not necessarily a tool that will help me or a person that will help me. But I do think talking to people and maybe sharing it with just 1 or 2 people might be a tool I could use. You've just made me think about it, so thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Follow up, what can the fandom do to help you with that?
Encourage. I mean, I think encourage.
Encouragement.
Yeah. Maybe a little DM here and there.
Yeah.
Have you done it yet?
Anyone else?
I don't have a drink.
Oh, when are we doing the next cover?
I'll fake it.
Jordan
I'll
wants
fake
to
it.
know. Here's the encouragement.
Soon. Name a song and a time and a place, and we'll do it. I think every time I come back to cons, it gives me that like little fire back in my belly a little bit, and I'm like, why don't I do it more? The answer is work, and specifically shift work. So constantly sleeping, basically.
Well, I mean, we've talked a little bit about this too. Kind of everything kind of circles back to points we've hit on. But like, is there anyone in the fandom that you guys really admire their work or what they do that kind of inspires you? I don't even mean like as encouragement. I mean, like sometimes I'll look at Hayley's work and I'm like, that's cool. I want to go draw now. I feel, I'm feeling, I got my juices flowing a little bit. Like, is there a fic writer? Is there a song? Is there something that inspires you in the fandom that you want to kind of give a shout out to?
Well, for me, it was Boots. In the beginning when I was reading Boots' story, they just have such the ability to tell a story and take you to a world that is different and special and unique. So for me, that was when I really started reading fanfic, was Boots' stories. So and I've met them and such a talented writer. So that's my person. Mm-hmm. And all of y'all. Of course, I mean, that goes without saying.
Boots is a gateway drug for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was one person for me. Like, I just enjoy being around people who are creative.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just spending the last day with you has been insane. Like, your artwork's crazy, but it makes me want to go home and work on stuff. Like,
Sitting next to you makes me want to go home.
That's fair. That's fair. Everybody wants to go home when they're near me. It's fine. But yeah, no, it just like makes me want to go home and work on things and be creative and make pretty things,
That's really lovely. Thank you.
I think when we went to connecting with creativity, I mean, that was such a special experience to be around other people who are creative and just encouraging and being at the panels and being at the cons with you guys. I mean, it makes you want to go do more. Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
So let's all go do more.
Let's go do more. Let's Earp more.
I mean, I think it's just the positivity. Like, we're surrounded by so much positivity. Like, I know all of us have different aspects of things going on in life, and a lot of that can be negative, but when you're at an Earp event, it's just constantly positive, and I think that's why it allows me to feel creative, to want to be creative, because I'm like, I don't have to worry about work. I don't have to worry about school. I don't have to worry about walking the dog. Like, it's just, I can just focus on just that one aspect.
And I got a challenge last night, so I have to write another story. So
What was the challenge? Can you tell us?
It's nice, grumpy. What was it, Heather? Nice, grumpy. Gosh, I texted it to myself. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I was drinking.
I think you texted it to yourself.
I texted it to myself so I remember.
Yeah.
And that's why you texted it to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the positivity, and it's that escapism, like a healthy escapism, right? Because we do have our normal stresses in our daily life. We all have our day jobs and our own responsibilities that we have to take care of back home. And EarpCons are an outlet for a lot of things, including our creative outlet, our friend outlet, able to express ourselves as individuals, our identities, our sexualities, just expression in general. So yeah, it does exactly, it creates an environment that is supportive and open to that, and open to be yourself. Yeah.
And I'm very excited to do stuff with Hayley now, so.
Yeah, gotta write comics now.
You're on.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to read the comic. Can I get
Yeah, let's do it.
the first issue?
You can get the first issue. Yeah.
Then Peach is going to sing it. Just to us, though.
Soundtrack.
Just us.
Just our group. It's fine.
Actually, it was the soundtrack to Earp, the score, all of the music stuff that made me start.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of like I've said already, what do you mean we don't get another season? I'm gonna, yeah. I didn't know many people in the fandom. I was very, very new to Twitter when I first found out the show that season 5 was cancelled. So I didn't know of any Earpers at the time, really.
You were just recruiting them.
I was just what?
Recruiting them. I don't know any, so I'm just going to find some.
Yeah, that was an Instagram thing. That was before Twitter for me.
Well, if we don't have any other questions, I think we could go ahead and wrap it up. I appreciate everyone's time. I appreciate everyone coming. And I hope all you creative people go out and do more creative things. And thanks for being Earpers. And everyone have a great day.
Thank you for coming. And thank you for hosting.
And thank you guys for all of the support.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.